Because y'all know y'all can't dance without music. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. And without the members, we would have no lights. Praise God. So we just celebrate God and we celebrate the church on our church 21st anniversary. Can we give God another hand clap? Come on. And if we give God a hand clap, we got to give our pastor another hand clap. Amen, amen. I won't be before you long today. You just give me 15 minutes and I'm going to be out of here. 15 minutes. If you could turn to Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. We're going to be reading a lot of verses. So I'm going to just read the 19th verse and then you can be seated. And after I'll read the rest after that. So if you can stand for Daniel chapter 3, the 19th verse. The Bible says, Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the expression on his face changed towards Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He spoke and commanded that they heat the furnace 7 times more hotter than it usually was heated. Amen. And he commanded certain mighty men of valor who were in the army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the fiery furnace. And you may be seated while I read the rest. Then these men were bound in their coats, their trousers, their turbans, and their other garments. And they were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore the king's command was urgent, and the furnace was exceedingly hot. The flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. The king Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste, spoke, saying to his counselors, Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said to the king, True, O king. Look, he answered, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spoke, saying, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out and come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came from the midst of the fire. And the satraps, administrators, governors, and the king's counselors gathered together. And they saw these men on whose bodies the fire had no power. The hair of their head was not singed, nor their garments affected, and the smell of fire was not on them. Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angels and delivered his servants who trusted in him. They have frustrated the king's word and yielded on their own God. Therefore, I make a decree that any people, nation, or language which speaks anything amiss, means against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, shall be cut up in pieces, and their houses shall be made an ash heap, because there is no other God who can deliver like this. Look at your neighbor and say, there is no other God who can deliver like this. Then the king, that's not my sermon topic, I just want to let y'all know there's no other God who can deliver us like that. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Praise the Lord. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I won't compromise.
I won't compromise.
Look at your neighbor on the other side and say, neighbor, I won't compromise.
I won't compromise.
And my subtopic today would be, it can't kill me. Y'all missed y'all shout. Look at somebody on the other side and say, neighbor, it can't kill me. I'll give you some background. This story of the people of God in this scripture, in this they're Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They're in a strange land. They're in Babylon. They're captive in Babylon. And this particular text, it catches me because it reminds me a little bit of the story of our ancestors. You know, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were raped of their history, stripped of their culture, and they were given new names. And they were in the midst of people who they did not know. And they did not understand these type of people. But somehow in the midst of the people they did not know nor understand, God prospered them. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, God's getting ready to prosper me in an unfamiliar land. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that's not their real names. Look at somebody and say, oh, he studies. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that's not their real names. They had other names before they came to Babylon, but they thought that if they took their names, they'll make them forget who they really are. They thought that if they stripped them from their names, they'll make them forget their real identity. But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I don't care what you say about me. I'm not going to forget who I am. I don't care what you tell everybody, what you say I am. I'm not going to forget who God said I am. So they stripped them from their names. They tried to make them forget who their God was. They tried to make them forget their identity. But in the midst of stripping them from their name, in the midst of you talking about me, in the midst of you scandalizing my name, in the midst of you lying on me, I'm not going to forget my God, and I'm not going to compromise. Look at somebody, say, neighbor, don't compromise.
Don't compromise.
Look at your neighbor on the other side and say, neighbor, don't compromise. See, because if you don't know who you are, as soon as people say stuff about you, you're going to begin to confine to the identity. If you don't know who you really are, as soon as they call you a liar, you're going to become a liar. If you don't know who you are, as soon as they call you a hoe, I promise you I could go to the whole house on Saturday and see you there every Saturday. You got to know who you are. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, never forget your identity. I don't care how bad they talk about you. I don't care if you was a low down nothing at one time. Never forget your identity. So they stripped them of their names. They try to make them forget who they were. So I'm moving here. So in this particular place, Nebuchadnezzar had put up an image, and the decree was as soon as the music starts playing, that you got to bow down to this image. But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I know who I am, and if anything is less than my God, I can't do it. So the decree was as soon as the music starts playing, you got to bow down and you got to worship this image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And I'm getting ready to get to the church anniversary and the youth Sunday. Just give me a few more minutes. So if you did not bow down, your punishment was that you would have to face the fiery furnace. You want to look at somebody and say, neighbor, I'm facing a fiery furnace because I did not do what the enemy wanted me to do. But look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I'm going to be okay because they forgot who my God was. So the decree was that you could not bow down, that you had to bow down to this image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego didn't compromise. And my church anniversary message before you today will be, we're still here on 21 years because Pastor did not compromise. I'm pretty sure there was people that tried to throw you off track, Pastor, but you did not compromise. And because you did not compromise, we're able to celebrate today because you did not compromise. Somebody ought to say, thanks be unto God that Pastor did not compromise. Because if she had compromised, I might be messed up right now. If she had compromised and I didn't get the word I was supposed to get, I might be losing my mind. Thanks be unto God that you didn't compromise when you had the chance to compromise. Good God Almighty. And the word for the youth today simply is don't compromise. There's times in our lives where you face the amount of peer pressure. We face the amount of come on drink with me and come on smoke with me and sometimes we get to a place where we end up compromising. Sometimes we get into a place where our peers can influence us to doing things we're not supposed to do. But I want to encourage some of your youth on today and tell you, beat yourself. I was on FaceTime last night and somebody had told me what I got from that was beat yourself. So I want to tell your youth today, beat yourself. Because if you beat yourself, even in the midst of the fire, I wish y'all get excited with me today. Even in the midst of the fire, you will not be able to burn because you were doing what you were supposed to do. I'm getting ready to leave y'all today because y'all not excited as I want y'all to be, but amen, the Bible says that they were bound in the fiery furnace. The Bible says that they were thrown in the furnace, and when they were thrown in the furnace, they were bound. They were bound with everybody talking about them. They were bound with depression. They were bound with sickness. Whatever had them bound, they were bound in the fire. But as I'm going to stop right here. As I was preparing myself to write a sermon earlier this week, amen, God had gave me Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And my response to God was, I think I preached that before. God, give me something new. Amen. And that was my response to God. Can I be honest with you? So I got in my word, amen. And I began to study, and I was going to come out of Luke today, and my sermon topic to you today would be, God is getting ready to straighten it out. And I know that sounds real good, but I believe today that somebody is in a fiery furnace, and God told me no matter how hot the furnace gets, I'm going to cool off right now, but something still wouldn't let me write down my sermon. So Saturday came. That was yesterday. I went to the barbershop in the morning, and I'm in the barbershop sitting down, and one of the barbers says, there goes the young reverend. And I look around the barbershop, and there was about 12 other people in the barbershop. So I'm looking around the barbershop, and I look and I find this young man who's dressed a little bit better than everybody, including me. But I look around and I say, oh, there goes that young reverend. So then the barber yells out, what's up, preacher? How you doing? So I look down at my phone because I know he's not talking to me. Amen. So I look down at my phone and I don't hear nobody respond to the barber. So I look up, and when I look up, the barber was looking at me. And he said, how you doing, preacher? I said, I'm doing good. God bless you. How you doing? He said, he's doing good. I said, oh, amen. Praise God. Back to my phone. Amen. So there was a man, he was sitting next to me. He said, so you a young reverend? I said, no, sir. God just uses me sometimes. He said, so you're a young reverend? I said, no, sir. He said, well, how old are you? I said, I'm 17. He said, well, there's one thing I want to tell you. And this is when God had took me back to what he told me in the beginning of this week. He said, don't compromise. Because if you don't compromise, you're getting ready to have the world on fire. So God spoke to my spirit. He said, remember I told you about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They didn't compromise, and they ended up in the fire. But this man has switched he flipped the script, and he has switched the words. He said, if you don't compromise, you're getting ready to have the world on fire. So if I don't compromise, I'm getting ready to set the world on fire. I'm not about to get to hop in it, because I'm already in it. But if I don't compromise, I'm getting ready to set the world on fire. And when I set the world on fire, all my enemies are about to disappear. After the Lord prepares my table, they got to go. He said, I'll prepare your table in the presence of your enemy. They got to talk about you. They got to scandalize you. They got to lie on you. Because you'll have no table. But after you're done eating, after you get your wealth, after you get your healing, your table is going. After your table is going, the fire is going to be 7 times hotter. And your enemy's not going to be able to stand your heat. No, baby, I'm not burning in it. I'm prospering in it. Look at your neighbor. Say what they thought was going to kill me, promoted me. They thought I was going to die, but I was lifted up. They thought I was going to lose my mind, but I got better. Look at somebody, say, neighbor, the furnace won't be able. It won't be able to burn. I gotta put my glasses back on. I can't see the words. I can't see the words I have written down. Amen. Let me find where I'm at. Amen. But I had to understand what the man was really telling me. Amen. Praise God. I began to say, but they didn't compromise, and they ended up in the fire. But he said, if you don't compromise, you'll end up having them on fire. So I thought about that. When they tell me, come on, let's smoke. When they tell me, come on, let's drink. And I don't compromise. And I stay in my lane with God. Sooner than later, they're going to have to follow my trail. Because the Bible says that King Nebuchadnezzar told them that if anybody says anything about the God they serve, I'm going to cut you into pieces. Because you can't talk about their God like that. You can't lie on their God like that. I can't talk about him like that. Because he's been too good to me. The Bible says that, amen, I'm out of notes. I'm just going to have to let God use me, amen. The Bible says that, they were thrown into the fiery furnace. And the Bible says that Nebuchadnezzar had looked again. And the Bible says that when he looked again, he saw 4 people walking in the fiery furnace. And amen, praise God, if I read the Bible correctly, the Bible told me he only threw 3 people in the fire. So I'm a little confused how the 4th person got in the fire. But then when I read the scripture, it said the 4th had the form of the Son of God. And that's when the Spirit of the Lord told me. He said, no matter where you go, no matter where the enemy tries to put you, no matter how low you get, no matter how high you think you are, I'm always going to be with you. When hell comes, I'm always going to be with you. When the storm comes, I'm always going to be with you. When it's flooding, I'm always going to be with you. When it's sunny, I don't have no church in here today. So the Bible says that there was a 4th man in the fire. So Nebuchadnezzar had called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to check on them. So when he called Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, amen, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. And this is something that blows my mind, because I've never ever in my life seen somebody come out of the fire with no, you know, with the smoke on them. And I never in my life, when I'm around, what they call them things, bonfires. When I'm around a bonfire, praise God, and I leave the bonfire, and somebody that was not at the bonfire says, was you somewhere where something was burning? Because they can smell the smoke on me. But God seems to blow my mind every time, because they threw them in the fire, expecting them to burn. But they did not burn. And not only did they not burn, but they had no smoke on them. Their hair wasn't messed up. Their clothes wasn't messed up. Their countenance wasn't messed up. That's why I said, thanks be unto God. Because even when the wicked come up against me and my enemies to eat upon my flesh, they stumble and they fail. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, because God is with me. I said they stumble and they fail. They try to take me out, but they fail. They try to kill me, but they fail. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, whatever they throw me in, it won't be able to kill me. That car accident, it won't be able to kill me. That sickness, it won't be able to kill me. Depression, it won't be able to kill me. Low self-esteem, it won't be able to kill me. That marriage won't be able to kill me. My friends won't be able to kill me. That death won't be able to kill me, because God is with me. Stay with me, musician, because God is with me wherever my feet tread. I said God shall supply all my needs. The Bible says that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego got promoted. They were so much promoted on the level where they were able to sit with the governors and they were able to eat meat at the table. Look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, you were eating the crumbs like the Canaanite woman, but God's about to promote you to the meat. I wish I had a church in here today. Maybe this word wasn't for you. Maybe it wasn't for you. Amen, but it was before me. And amen, because I didn't compromise. Elder Wright, I know now that I don't have to wait till tomorrow, but I can do it today. And because I didn't compromise, Pastor Wyatt said, I did not die. If I smoked, I could have had an allergic reaction, and I could die in that compromise. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't compromise. And because I didn't compromise, I was doing the calendar. Let me know my lease may be expired. My lease is not expired. It just needs a renewal. And because I didn't compromise, Evangelist Dolores, I know that God is on his way. And because I didn't compromise, Evangelist Monica, I know that God is a doctor. Put it all together. And because I didn't compromise, Minister Jalen, I know that there's purpose in my pit. And because I didn't compromise, I know that even in the fire, I shall not die. Do me the favor, look at your neighbor. Say, neighbor, no matter how high it gets. Because I did not compromise. Because I did not compromise. I'm able to still be the person, amen, I am today because I did not compromise, Pastor. And Pastor, because you did not compromise, souls are still able to be saved. Amen. Breakthroughs are still able to happen because you did not compromise. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, don't compromise. And whatever the enemy tries to put you in, it cannot kill you. I need somebody to get excited because I should have died a long time ago. As many times as I told the devil, get out my face, get out my house, leave. He should have killed me a long time ago. But the truth is, even if he wanted to, he can't. Because God's not going to allow him. I got a church in here today. I'm getting ready to go to my seat. Amen. But I'm reminded of the walls of Jericho. Amen. And I just heard the Spirit of the Lord say, amen. I remember saying this before, that victory comes with a sound. Amen. And I heard the Spirit of the Lord say that he's getting ready to take somebody out of their fiery furnace. But he needs you to release a sound. Amen. Amen. Sometimes we get too caught up in the dance. And don't mind, we about to kick in a minute. But sometimes we forgot how powerful communication is with God. Because we dance too much. I love dancing, but I got to still remember that there's power in my communication. And I just wish somebody would open up their mouth and declare that you're free in the building today. Come on, release the sound. Release the sound. Release the sound. It's in your sound when the war's fall. It's in your sound when breakthrough comes. It's in your sound when you get healed. It's in your sound when you get delivered. Release the sound. It's in your sound. Push forward. Push forward. It's in your sound. Amen. It's in your sound. I was quiet while I'm crying. I was quiet while I was crying. But because I'm not crying no more, because I got my joy back, I got to lift my voice. I got to praise God. I was too silent. I was silent long enough. But God gave me back my freedom. And because I got my freedom back, I owe God a praise. Lift your voice up and praise God.